Hello, my beautiful friends. How's everybody doing today? I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Okay, I hope you're ready for this one. Your heart was never broken, it just needed to be healed. What do you mean? Well, I have talked about this so many times in so many different ways. Let's talk about it some more. There are things that will happen in our lives that are absolutely unavoidable. These things are, let's call them the presets of your life plan before you come here. Certain things, pay attention to what I just said, certain things are predetermined to happen in a specific way based upon soul contracts, karmic contracts, karmic resolutions, karma itself, and many other factors that come along the way that have everything to do with your past actions in your past lives. And I said this before, I'm going to say it again. If you don't believe in past lives, then, well, that's your problem. Maybe this is not the place for you to be then if you don't believe that kind of thing. Don't take it personal, though. Past lives are real, and it's part of the learning process of any soul on this physical plane. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the unavoidable things. Look, I don't know what you've been through, okay? But once again, based on my personal journey and my experience, I have an idea. I've been through my own things. I am not a stranger to that kind of stuff. Not the stuff that I talk about. Whatever topic I speak of on this space, on this channel here, and by the way, if you're new here, you're very welcome here. This is my place, this is my space where I talk about my life and my personal spiritual journey and my experiences on my 50 plus years here on this physical plane. Okay? So the things that I talk about here, the topics that I talk about here, I am talking from experiencing things, from living it, and then knowing how it felt to me. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to feel the same way to everybody, because everybody's going to have their own unique journey here, and there's going to be different factors, different experiences, different, a lot of things. Some things may be similar, but there are some universal aspects of things that will always remain the same. And That is, when I was talking about the unavoidable, is that certain things are going to happen and transpire a certain way in our lives because it just had to be that way. So people need to understand not to be so harsh to themselves and to use the good old tactic of victimhood. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be very clear about it. Do not play the victim, no matter what circumstances, no matter what happened. You were never a victim. You were a student. And these things that happen to you, however they happen, whatever these things were, situations, experiences, things that had to do with relationships, especially romantic relationships. These things had to happen for a reason. Understand that. So cast that victimhood thing aside for a minute and look at it from the right perspective to understand that these things happen to you because you wouldn't learn anything about yourself. Think of it as a spiritual initiation. Because some of these things, that's exactly what they are. The stuff is deep, very deep. Our hearts are never truly broken. People love to use that term and throw it around like it's never out of style. But our hearts are never truly broken. Our hearts may heal. Our hearts will heal. They also hurt. I'm not going to deny that. Yeah, it can hurt. It can hurt a lot. But it never hurts to the point where it breaks. That's semantics. Badly used semantics at that. Okay? Just keep that in mind. You cannot break what can never be broken. Don't look at the heart as a physical thing, as the muscle that's beating inside of your rib cage, pumping the blood through your vessel and keeping you alive at this very moment. Because that's really not the heart that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the spiritual heart that you have. That's this integral part of you that is always there. It's been there since the day you were born, since before you were born, as a matter of fact. And then you come into this world with this part of you that most people will go their whole lives without even knowing it's there. But this part is a part of you. You cannot disconnect from it. Just understand that. You can't disconnect from this. You might be able to detach from it, but not disconnect. So the heart hurts sometimes. Yes, it does. Even on a physical level sometimes. Depending how deep the hurt goes. But you cannot break what cannot be broken. And that's what I'm really trying to emphasize here, okay, folks? You cannot break that. That is a part of you that it's unbreakable. I'm going to say it one more time. Listen to me very careful. Your heart is unbreakable. because that's a part of a divine aspect of yourself that most people are not even embodying it, you know. You don't, the regular everyday person out there has not embodied that aspect of themselves. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? So you can't break something that you're not even fully connected to begin with. You get what I'm saying here? So when we go through these experiences in our lives, they're only there for one reason and one reason only. It's to do some of the deepest spiritual healing and growth that a person can ever go through. Massive healing opportunities. Massive healing opportunities. And the healing that will come out of things like that. And look, like I said, I don't know what you went through, okay? But I know what I went through. And sometimes we'll go through our lives and live through multiple rejections, one after the other, because you didn't learn the lesson. So it's going to get thrown at you again. And depending how far along you are on your spiritual journey that you may not remember from your other lives, there are certain lessons that in this lifetime, right here, right now, you have to learn the lesson, period. I'm going to be adamant about that. We're at a stage of development of humanity right now that certain lessons, if you haven't learned them yet, you're going to have to learn whether you like it or not. So what's going to happen is if you don't learn the lesson, it's going to get thrown your way again and thrown your way again and thrown your way again until you get it. Do you get it now? I hope you do. Because it surely gets old, does it not? You know exactly what I'm talking about here. There's a reason why you came to this video. You know exactly what I'm talking about here. So, when you finally learn the lesson, the gains from this lesson are gonna be on a whole nother level, my friends. I can't even begin to express this. I don't even know if I could even possibly put this into words. But I am telling you right now, it's the level of gain and growth, inner spiritual growth, real, tangible, palpable growth that you're going to get from something like that. Once you go through it, you will know. Because it's extremely hard to explain this to someone who hasn't gone through this. I'm sorry, but certain things, certain experiences, they are so ethereal. That would be probably the proper way of putting it. That trying to express it with words, it's not that simple. There are limits to certain things that can be expressed vocally, unfortunately. But it's because if you would try to explain certain things to people who do not have the capability, or for the people who are not equipped spiritually or psychologically to understand certain things, it would be pointless anyway. And that's the reason why certain things, they're just too hard to explain. It's not even worth the effort. This is how it works. Okay? So yeah, if you go let's say throughout your whole life to multiple rejections, abandonment, anything like that, remotely similar to that, in any way, shape, or form, if that's still happening to you as I am talking about it right now, it's a time for you to take a step back, take a deep breath, and do some serious introspection and spend as much time alone as you possibly can. Go full on hermit mode. I don't care how long you have to do it, okay? I did it for 18 years of my life. I know what I'm talking about here. You've heard me say this again. This is not my first rodeo. I've lived through some of this stuff. And I learned my lesson. And I am thankful and grateful for that. Because once you finally get to that point where you really learned, then you're finally on the right path. And everything is going to change. Because now you are ready for what's coming next in this next phase of your life, in this next stage of your spiritual growth. So stop fighting yourself for a minute. Get out of victim mode and understand that whatever it is that you went through, when it comes down to things like this, if it's still happening and coming back to you and repeating itself throughout your life in this perpetual loop, it's because you have not learned the lesson. So accept that. Learn the lesson so that you can embody that part of your heart that's always been there waiting for you to reconnect with you. And I am serious about this, guys. Now, there might be some of you that, you go through that enough times that you're just gonna decide to not have anything to do with anyone anymore. And that's okay. It's fair. But that's not gonna make the lesson be learned. Keep that in mind. That's a choice that everybody has, and you can choose to do so. But when you come back on your next life, deja vu, baby. That crap's gonna come right back to you. Oh, you thought I forgot about you thought you forgot about this lesson? Now, there you go. You got it again. This is how it's gonna happen. Yeah, you think it's funny, don't you? But you're not gonna think it's funny when it happens again, and you're gonna have this weird, like, moment where you're gonna feel like, why do I feel like this is awfully familiar? Yeah, that's why. So you may choose to run from it on this lifetime, but you can't run away from things that are unavoidable. That's life in a nutshell. And With that said, that is really all I wanted to say on this specific video and about this topic. So I hope you all can come out of it on top and understand once and for all that these things happen not only because there's a reason behind it, but because they are unavoidable. And until you learn the lesson, they will keep coming back at you, no matter what. And that is all. With that said, my friends, I bid you farewell. I love you all. From my physical heart and my other heart that is unbreakable. From the depths of my soul. I really do. And I hope to catch you on the next one. So like, subscribe, feel free to share this. And go ahead and sound off in the comments. Don't be shy. We don't bite here. Just remember to be respectful. I'll catch you all on the next one. Later.